Oh yeah, it is. Oh my goodness. Good work, dude.
That's a big one.
Good morning, boys and girls. Made the first run to a first spot. My face is freezing. Dirds,
I'm back. It's been a long time.
it's been a long time, man. What do you want to accomplish today? What are you excited about?
I want to go catch him on a jig, and I want to catch a 6.34 pounder.
Why 634?
Because when I pulled up to Ben's house this morning, his address happened to be 634, and I was like, you know what? I think it's about 6:34 in the morning. I looked at my phone, and sure enough, it was 6:34. It's a sign. It's an omen. We're going to catch a 6.34 or 6.34 fish. I don't know where the 3 or 0.34 is coming from, but we'll figure it out.
We're gonna figure it out, boys and girls. We're out here at one of my favorite bodies of water. We're gonna fish a jig, and I have about 12 rods to fish a jig on. No, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I haven't fished with Dirds in a long time. Just gonna come out here and explore. I've kind of had my butt handed to me out here for the past couple of weeks, so hopefully things are finally setting up for the fall transition. Fish a little bit of grass. Hopefully these fish are gonna be living in that last bit of green grass, starting to push up shallow, feeding on bluegills, feeding on crawfish. Stay tuned. If you guys enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and let's kind of put you on my chest and go fishing in 3, 2, 1. So I don't really know why I'm starting out with a flutter spoon. Just probably because Dirds is throwing a jig, and it kind of weirds me out when Dirds throws a jig. So I don't know that we've really been on the boat together when you've thrown a jig, Dirds.
No, this summer, I mean...
We didn't really fish. You fished tournaments all year.
Yeah, and I threw a jig a lot.
Yeah, so I'm starting out with the jig as well. I just wanted to throw it for like 2 casts and get it hung on the grass real quick. But no, we're just basically starting on main lake grass, as I already mentioned to you guys. My setup is nothing crazy. You guys have seen it on the channel quite a bit. 1/2 ounce Sparky head jig, magic craw color, green pumpkin blue trailer. We're just gonna see if we can't catch some fish. This is one of my favorite ways to catch big largemouth, and let's make it happen.
Great content, though. That's a big one.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh my goodness.
Good work, dude.
That's a big one. Oh my goodness.
Dude.
Give me some skin.
That is such a big fish,
one.
dude. I didn't realize, like...
Hey, you wanna know what? I didn't even put those
Dude.
God, that's a giant.
Yeah, it is. It's like almost... That's probably a 5-pounder. 6 or 7, yeah.
Dude, that's a horse.
Holy smokes, dude.
That's a freaking horse. Wow.
Good work, dude.
That's a jigfish. That's a giant. I just felt a little bit of weight and kind of leaned back on him, and as soon as I felt that fish turn, oh wow, that's a big one.
Oh, that's a big fish, dude.
He pulled drag.
Yeah, he made a run at the boat.
Yeah, I was scared for a second there, but we're gonna let him rest for a sec, and then we'll get some photos and a weight on that sucker. That's a big one.
That might be the same fish I caught.
I think so, man. Ben came out here and he caught 5.5 pounder in almost the exact same spot. He was telling me it had a cull tag wound on it, and I was just going to pick it up, and it's got a cull tag wound in it. It might be that same fish.
That's crazy. How big do you think that fish is? Give me some guesses.
6 or 7 all day. No, I'd say 5.5 pounds.
Let's get a weight.
Moment of truth. See how big she is.
Zeros? Dirds, I think that's the same fish I caught, man.
5.5?
534.
That's a big one. That just shows you the importance of catch and release, man. I mean, that fish is healthy. We caught her a couple weeks ago. I came back to, what, within 50 yards of where you caught her, and she's still there kicking. You know, if you take care of the fish and let them go, let them grow, you know, you can keep those big 5-6 pounders around and keep catching them apparently.
That's crazy, dude. Good work.
So, we can get some pictures and get her back, and maybe we can come out another 2 weeks and catch it again. I don't know.
There she goes.
That's awesome, man. And we were just talking too about resident fish and how spots will always have big fish on them, and we just proved that point. That
Like same fish.
the exact same fish, and that, like I was saying, catch and release, putting those big fish back, you can catch them again. And that fish just swam off nice and healthy. I mean, Ben took pictures with it. I took pictures with it. We kept it in the water as much as we could, let it get a breath, and it swam off just fine. And that resident fish will stay where it needs to be, and we can come back and catch it again, hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe next season when it's 6 or 7.
Just got back to the house. It's currently about 2 o'clock, but it's kind of one of those nasty, rainy, overcast days that you don't want to spend the whole day on the water. It's about 55 degrees and that rain's coming down, and it's just not really that much fun, especially when you're not out there absolutely smashing them. But I do want to spend some time and have a conversation with you guys about something that I experienced today that was really cool. And being a former tournament angler, I've always been a big advocate for catch and release, right? Catch your 5 biggest fish, put them in your live well. There's great technology to keep these fish alive and release these fish alive at the end of the day on the body of water that you caught them in. And I still do think there's a lot of merit for that. But one thing I experienced today is catch and immediate release and the powers of this system. Basically, catch the fish, weigh the fish, get a photo, and let that fish go alive where you caught that fish. This is basically the whole cornerstone of the argument for Major League Fishing, and I've seen a bunch of articles talking about this, and especially when you're catching deep fish, there's a lot of benefits of catching these fish and letting them go immediately versus setting them in the live well forever. Now, like I mentioned, there's a lot of great technology to keep these fish alive and healthy. You can fizz fish, you can take care of fish, but that's not really where I'm going with this argument, because I think you can release fish alive and healthy. Where I'm going with this is specifically for trophy fishing, specifically for giant bass, because that fish that Nathan caught today was undoubtedly the exact same fish that I caught a couple of weeks ago on a big swim bait. And if you guys don't know which fish I'm talking about, I'll leave it linked up here in the corner for you, and I'll have a picture pop out. But I caught this 5.5 pounder on a swim bait on a main lake point a few weeks ago. And one thing that I had noticed was that it had a cull hole in the left side of its jaw. Well, sure enough, Nathan and I were fishing today, and he smoked that big one. Well, then he pulls that fish out, and it's got this cull hole in the left side of its jaw, and I'm like, dude, guaranteed that's the same exact fish, weighed 5.34 pounds. So without a doubt, same exact fish. And this kind of got me to thinking, right? Like, had I taken that fish and I put him in my live well and I drove him around for 8 hours, and then at the end of the day I let him go about 2 miles away from the ramp, or away from where he was at the boat ramp, what would have happened to that fish? Would that fish have gone back to that same area? Would he have gone and lived in a new area? Like, what happens to trophy class fish when you move them long distances? So what is this telling me? Now, it's been 3 weeks. We're in the fall transition, right? So transition makes you think that these fish are going to be moving a lot. They're going to be transitioning, moving different patterns. This fish went from on top of the flat right by the point about 50 feet down the bank to the first piece of really hard cover, which was a log. Like, to me, what that's telling me is that fish is probably a resident fish. That's where that fish has been sitting, living, eating, doing it his entire life for probably a little while now. I just want to advocate to you guys the power of catch and immediate release. And I know there's a lot of tournament anglers that watch this and they say, man, but that's BS. That fish is going to go back there if he wants to live there. That may be so, but when you catch a big fish in an area, especially if you're not fishing a tournament, you don't have to put that fish in the live well. I'm advocating for you guys, take that fish, maybe set him in the live well, let him chill, get a weight, get a picture, and put him back where you caught him, because there's a good chance that that fish was either a resident fish, lives in the area, or has a reason for being in that spot. So today was my very first experience with it. I know there's a lot of studies that prove the benefits of catching immediate release, especially as we get later on into the year and you're catching those fish a little bit deeper, or you're catching those fall fish that are on the feed. If you move those fish a long ways away from that food, they have to expend all that energy to get back to it. I'm recommending you drop those fish, put those fish back where you caught them. So just kind of my little soapbox, my little rant. Just thought it'd be really interesting to share with you guys the story of that same fish being caught 2 times in a couple different weeks during the fall transition. But anyways, I don't like to end my video like this, but So we're gonna end it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Caught some big fish in this one, so it should be a lot of fun. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys would like to see in future videos, and as always, take care, Thailands. God bless. Pursue your passion. Practice catching immediate release, please.